Good, good. So we're here with UV and E, and what you do is you have a channel where mostly you go into Valorant or other video games and you spout truth to whoever's in the video game lobby for as long as you can. You you put your name provocatively, like space is fake or Earth is flat or NASA lies, and then people in the lobby are like, "Who's this guy?" And then so when you're in an audio chat like we are right here, they start asking you questions like, you think the Earth is flat?" And you're like, "Yeah, man." And you just go off for a half hour. You've got a great way of kind of rambling on and spitting out facts and going from subject to subject that covers them in a way that just kind of assaults the video game listener. And I think a lot of people must come out the other end thinking two things. First, they're like, "Man, that guy's kind of crazy," but also, I'm really curious about all the things that guy said. And I bet anyone that starts hearing someone else confirming the things that they hear you say sparks an awakening. And this is why I wanted to bring attention to what you do and this kind of video game activism. Because there's a whole sector of the population that plays these video games, loves them, and you're not really going to be able to access them on Truth or YouTube or in books or in other forms of content because they're not there. They're here playing these games. And so you found a brilliant way to bring the truth to the video game players, and then you've also recorded it and brought it to YouTube so people like me who are on YouTube can find you and listen to you afterwards. So you're kind of hitting them on both fronts there. And I just wanted to commend you and promote you, your channel, which has just kind of gotten started, but I'm not sure how long you've actually been doing this in the background without recording. So maybe you can introduce yourself and your channel and how you awakened and how you came to do this kind of activism.
Wow, Eric, that is like such a high honor to kind of hear those words, especially as, again, like you said, like I'm just someone who we've been doing this for several years now, basically not really recording, where we just kind of, yeah, like you said, we're playing Valorant mainly, but basically any online game now. Whenever I'm at the prompt of like choose your character's name or something, I'm like, how do I find some kind of cheeky little, space is fake is kind of my favorite one because it's just so out there for someone who has not yet experienced any of these topics at all. It's just like such a bold claim. So that's kind of how it all got started. We just kind of chose those names. Well, first of all, we definitely went on this journey of kind of truth and awakening and stuff. And as we kind of found more and more and more, I had this deep yearning to just share it. I just wanted to yell from the mountaintops to everybody, like I couldn't contain it. But then what I found was, as I'm telling my friends, they kind of withdraw a little, and they kind of, again, like you said, they're like, this guy's a little crazy, a little kooky, so it's kind of, it was this kind of difficult moment where the easiest place for me to kind of speak about it freely was online, like on the internet, on the computer, where I have essentially been for a very long time. I actually consider the screens basically raised me in a way. I've been around them for so long, interacted them with screens for so long and whatnot. So it's like, yeah. So what ended up happening was we chose these names. Space is fake and don't trust NASA is usually our go-to. And when I say we, this channel is essentially me and my girlfriend, where we both went down this kind of truther journey together. And yeah, it's exactly like you said. We find random matchmaking lobbies with just complete strangers, and we see what kind of interactions we get. We get all sorts of questions and different, people having different, like some people will be very aggressive and will just be like, "Are you really so stupid that you believe what you're saying?" And then there are some people that are like, "Hey, can you tell me a bit more about your name?" So I found that you kind of need to vary your approach, but ultimately there's just so much information that is misinformation that we're told growing up, all this common stuff about, I don't know, human history and dinosaurs and meteors and aliens and all this stuff. Like, it's impossible to not encounter that kind of stuff. So it ends up just being a long form discussion kind of about whatever comes to mind. Usually it's space and Earth and, you know, what are we, where did we come from and stuff like that. Not that I claim to know all the answers, but we kind of see it like planting seeds in terms of you plant those ideas in people's head, and it's exactly like you said, like you nailed it. I mean, that kind of makes sense as someone who's in the truther kind of space for so long. You nailed it. Like what we hope is maybe later down the line, even just one of the topics we touch on, they'll be able to kind of think about, wait a minute, that guy on Valorant was talking about that stuff and he was mentioning all this other stuff, and then it kind of gives them a sort of avenue, a sort of other ideas to maybe go down that rabbit hole. You know, if they've already confirmed one truth, it's kind of like maybe that guy was onto something.
You got it, man. Yeah, you humanize these truths, and you can't wake somebody up in a single conversation anyway. So, like you said, you're planting the seeds, and that's the way to go. So anyway, look, I'm gonna continue this conversation, but let's try to play a game if we can while we're talking. So this is carry the glass. I apparently am this blue character here. You're the red guy over there, and we are trying to carry a piece of glass around a town, I guess.
And not break it.
And not break it. Okay, yeah, I guess it's gonna break if we don't cooperate in just the right way.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're trying now to go through these trucks.
Here,
done quite well.
And rotate the glass so that we can kind of finesse it in.
There we go. All right, so now getting a bit more complicated, rotating the glass.
Yep.
Right.
And now here we can also raise and lower the glass. So these are going to be the two kind of main mechanics that we're able to do besides just kind of moving.
Okay.
So I'm going to go over this kind of thing and
All right,
and
here we go.
over. Yeah, nice.
Got it.
Okay. And then again.
Oh, my body is just as flexible in real life thanks to all the yoga that I do.
Yeah. Oh, that's actually a topic I wanted to touch on at some point, because I feel as though I have lived multiple lives. Not really, but me, before I kind of understood a lot of these truther topics, I totally had a different perspective on a lot of things. Like, for example, I thought yoga was kind of just like, I don't know, stretching, you know, and there's really nothing deeper to it than that, or more meaningful, you know, or anything like that. But now I'm kind of realizing that there is something definitely profound about putting time apart in your day to literally just exist, you know,
right,
without any kind of so I think for here we need to go side by side, and we're gonna need to jump together to kind of so I'll just go when you go. We're in the 2, 3. Yeah, and then let's just keep going. And then oops, that's okay. there's gonna be some checkpoints, and we'll be able to just go back. Yeah, I'll just. But anyways, yeah, as I was saying, I definitely think that there is something really special about meditation and kind of the yoga. I kind of see them as intertwined almost. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Yoga in its original form, if you go to Patanjali's sutras, the original yoga sutras, most of it is all about maintaining a one-pointed focus and about meditation. It's not so much about bending your body in various directions. That's kind of like came about similar to how martial arts came about, where the monks were falling asleep while meditating, and so they needed something to do with their bodies in the interim so that they were moving around more and they were still able to keep their meditative focus, but through movement and motions. That's where you get Tai Chi and eventually all the other martial arts that became more combative over time. But they originally started more as mindfulness techniques. Oops, there I go again. And that's exactly exactly the same. as yoga. It's really more about maintaining focus, mindfulness, meditation, than which would be good right now in a moment. Than it is about bending your body in various ways. Though it's branched off into various types of yoga. So now there's like, yes, now there's like different branches, even though it really is one unified thing that. Should I get next to you?
Yeah, let's go like that, and then let's go.
Yes. So, like anything, it becomes branched and fractionated, but the original thing, the original source was unified, and that's what I try to do in my yoga practice. So I don't just do Hatha yoga or Ashtanga or Kundalini or Raja. I study and practice all of them, and to the degree that they work for me, more or less, and what I've been able to learn. Autodidact, and I like to do anything I can by myself, and using teachers that resonate with me, but usually not sticking with just one teacher. I like to bounce around, take what I can, using Bruce Lee's philosophy, where he says, research everything, keep what is useful, discard what is useless, and create what is uniquely your own. And that's like been my philosophy for pretty much every aspect of life. And it's so hard to carry on a deep conversation when doing these fine motor tasks. And that's actually the opposite. I think it's part and parcel, but also an opposite skill to meditation, because there's single-minded focus and there's multitasking focus, and they're two different kinds of focus. But I think that, they're both focus, so I think they can kind of come together, but they have to be practiced individually, or else you'll never master either of them.
Oh, 100%. Like, whenever I'm playing Valorant, sometimes I get people that are just like, dude, how are you able to talk about this while playing, you know? Like, I'm just talking about, you know, whatever, the physical horizon isn't 3 miles out as it should be, like, on a 395-mile radius sphere. And they're like, how do you even, like, where is this coming from? It's just something that, I don't know, over time, you know, you're just able to kind of develop that. I definitely have found, as someone who, again, I'm still kind of like a yoga noob in terms of like actually practicing or the teachings or anything, it might honestly be easier to go on the same one here. But like, just anecdotally, for example, I think that like when I'm in bed at night is when I'm able to get so many more just epiphanies, you know? I just feel like I have the best thoughts, I have the most clarity, and then it's kind of like, well, what's different about being in bed at night? You know, to me, it's like I'm perfectly still. I'm sitting there, my mind is basically the only thing that's working, and as I kind of just let it go through the, you know, whatever it wants to go through, and I kind of am just trying to observe the thoughts coming and going, you know, I get this kind of calmness, I get this kind of stillness, and then I also get this kind of these random epiphanies, you know, especially when it's like big life-changing ones, or like how I should treat others, or you know, or you know, you kind of did something wrong today, or you know, the way you interacted with that person could have been better, or stuff that I don't stop and reflect on throughout the day that I think is really kind of important, you know. And then it also kind of feeds into this, we are being blasted with noise 24/7, like 365. It honestly feels like my whole lifestyle prior to being more aware of it was stuff like even at night I would sleep with like white noise.
Sorry, we're gonna go straight onto this one, maybe. Looks like it might be too wide for us to go this way.
I think so. So then I'll go first.
Okay.
There'll probably be a checkpoint right after.
I hope so.
Oh, one more jump.
You go first.
And then one more. Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Okay. And
Sometimes when I go, it'll kind of pull you. All right.
what's this?
No checkpoint yet, but it's probably going to be before we clear. But yeah, I definitely realized that I'm inadvertently kind of meditating when I just stop and give myself that kind of time. Oh, nice. We got a checkpoint, so we're clear.
That was a hard one.
I know. This game looks kind of deceptively simple, but it's honestly pretty tough in terms of
Go together.
the control. Yeah. Oh, you.
First.
Anyways, I kind of wanted to talk also about just like the whole awakening journey and kind of my journey, your journey. I've definitely seen in other videos of yours where you kind of talk about how like your journey where you essentially have always kind of been this natural, investigative kind of skeptic, you know?
Right.
If you think that's a fair label, not to try to, you know, put you in a box or anything, but I would definitely agree that that kind of resonated with me. I don't know if it's kind of like a little bit of a punk attitude where whenever I kind of hear something, I'm like, you know, okay, bro, like let me really, you know, like I don't really, you know, but it has 100% ended up helping me like go down this kind of journey, you know? I mean, for me personally, I was like I kind of believed a lot of this stuff the way that many people do. Like I kind of believed everything they taught me growing up because I didn't care enough to really stop and think. Like they kind of told me this whole story and that the scientists have figured out a timeline, you know, of they have all the answers using carbon dating and blah 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 blah, and I kind of just I accepted that. I was okay, cool. Like I want to go home and play games and watch cartoons, and I don't really care. You know, I'm not smarter than the scientists. You kind of are taught since you're a child to minimize yourself and to kind of relinquish your own authority,
Right.
and to kind of have this thought of like, well, you're just a dumb little, you know, kid. Like you don't know. Like you're not smarter than the scientists. You're not smarter than your teacher. Like don't get smart, don't get funny with me, you know. When you start talking back to the teacher kind of thing, not that I really preferred to, I kind of, again, just tried to minimize myself. But I don't even know what happened there. The glass just flew off. But it's okay, we got this started. It's kind of tough here because I think the glass is so long that we both can't be on the chair at the same time. Oh, I think I yanked you off. There might be times where it's easier for you to go first as well. Yeah, like when you jump, then I have to, yeah, try that. And then you can just go and I'll just try to, oops.
Maybe not. Well,
That's fine, no, yeah.
let's reverse roles and see if it's any easier.
Yeah, agreed. Oops.
Okay. Yeah.
Try to go to the back of the platform there so I have a little more.
Okay, I don't know if it's going to be any easier. Okay, here we go. And then, yeah, let's go back to you going backwards.
Yeah.
I think that's a bit more difficult. Wow, jeez.
So, for me, one of the places where I first kind of started getting this feeling of like something is up, kind of, you know, like maybe what they taught me is not necessarily true. Like my first kind of thing that kind of I would say exposed me to it was definitely, like I had heard throughout my life stuff about like, oh, 9/11 and whatnot, you know, and it was always like, I don't know, it was something that I had heard, but not particularly processed, you know, where I didn't like really go down a deep dive or anything. But again, I had that kind of seed planted in me. And it wasn't until much, much later where it would finally bloom and things would start to click of like, this world is not exactly what they tell us. And for me, the big kind of catalyst, I would say, in my awakening was honestly surprisingly recent. Like, you know, I don't know if I'm able to say COVID, you know, but it's exactly when it happened. Like the pandemic was for me like a major moment where I had a lot of time. Oops, I went too close.
Oh, I guess maybe
Or I
it's
went
when
too fast.
you go off the dock and I'm still on the dock. Is that what's
I
doing
think
it?
so. Like if
Do we have
we
to go off the
both,
dock at the same time?
I think if we
'Cause all you
both
did
pull
was-
on it, it would just break.
Oh, right, we can try it here. Oh, wow,
That's
we can
weird,
pull
though.
it quite a bit.
Yeah, it feels like
But we can't
It's
get
not
very
breaking
close.
now,
Oh, there
but-
it goes. But
Yeah,
when
we
you
can't get
tilt it,
close.
oh yeah, see if you tilt it and then one of us goes off the dock, it's gonna break.
Oh,
So,
okay. So when it's
when
angled
we're-
like that.
When those spinny things on the other side, we gotta tilt it to go through them. But if we tilt it before I'm off the dock, it's gonna break. like
Gotcha.
that.
Gotcha.
Break
Gotcha.
the glass
Okay.
50 times. That's
I was pre-tilting. Okay, well that's good then. We should, and then once we get through that part, there should be another checkpoint.
yeah. So you had a semi-awakening to 9/11 as maybe kind of your first, because that was mine as well. My first kind of inkling into conspiratorial world, conspiratorial thinking, was 9/11 information, like the documentary Loose Change back in the day, and then confirmation of that got me going down into other ideas and learning about banking conspiracies and secret societies and the New World Order and everything, and eventually flat Earth. So
Yeah.
I guess for you, what that was what planted the seed, and then you said more recently that got fertilized
Yeah.
and blossomed. How did that take place?
Well, it was essentially. This is kind of a whole nother topic I wanted to kind of jump into, but anonymous message boards and kind of online, forums like that where people are kind of able to speak a bit more freely is where I was able to kind of, like, I don't know if I can name drop 4chan or anything like that, but
Yeah.
I happened to be on it and I was just in a random thread. It was not related to anything, like in terms of like flat earth or anything like that. I've always kind of been conspirational, like in terms of like enjoying conspiracy theories, alternate explanations for things, you know. And I had just seen like a whole bunch of links posted. It was just like maybe 30 YouTube links, no context given, no nothing. And I just decided to open a couple of them. And one of them was like level. One of them was this video. I went back to kind of really try to credit these people. It was like this, I believe the channel was like Neo Human something. It was essentially this AI video called Why the Lie.
Is it Neo
Where-
Human Eve?
Yes.
Yeah. He might have used AI, but he's a real person.
No, I know, yeah,
Oh,
but in
yeah.
the video it was just like AI images and stuff. I saw they had like a nice little heartfelt comment about how much work it took. It was really like that to me. That was like, I saw that video. It's just this 5-minute little video that basically says like, why would they lie, basically, and it posits like we can't know for sure because we are not the liars, but we can kind of deduce, you know.
Right.
One is financial. One is one reason is like they could be hiding land, you know, like we're restricted from, like, I didn't know that. I didn't know. Nobody taught me growing up, like, hey, by the way, you're in a pen, basically. There's a big circle around your continents where the military is essentially spying on anyone who goes, you know, beyond this kind of 60th South parallel. And like, when I hear the word 60th South parallel as like a civilian, you know, like that's meaning. Those are just numbers and letters or whatever. Like, it doesn't really strike you how significant and kind of important that is.
So let's go.
You know?
Let's go horizontal first.
So
we can go off.
Yeah.
The,
How about we just, okay, you see that one on the right? As it kind of goes through, we'll just. Okay, wait, I'm scared. Oh, wait, I'm scared.
Okay, well, we're off the dock now. So
Okay, yeah, we're off the dock. Oh, should we tilt the
Tilt
glass?
it?
Hold on, I
Yeah.
feel like we're a little close. Oh, how do you tilt? Okay, I'm just gonna go first after this next spin here.
Yeah.
And we should get, I'm just gonna follow this right one in. Yeah. And then alley-oop. Okay, nice.
Nice.
Okay,
No check.
and then here, let's just, after
Go
this
after
one,
that,
let's
okay.
just go. Yeah. Let's just send it. Oh, it's a bit slow.
Yeah.
Okay, send it. Uh-oh. Okay, swinging hammers. I don't think it matters if we're flat or not here.
Right.
But
Unlike
I guess as they pass, let's just...
world,
Oh!
jeez.
Oh!
In
Where's
the
the
real
checkpoint?
world,
No!
flatness matters. Oh,
Yeah.
the back. Oh my gosh. Okay.
100%. I mean, even the idea of flat Earth, for example, is something that I have heard throughout my life. Like, I've kind of... I've at least heard of it as an idea, but I didn't... Like, you're never presented with... Here's a real person that is actually trying to explain, like, what a physical horizon is, or stuff like that. Like, I saw all the propaganda about how it's fake and how you're kind of... It's very tricky. Like, they socially shame you. We've all been shown this kind of... I bring this up in my Valorant lobbies, of like... I ask them, what do you think of flat Earth? Like, what have you been shown in your life about flat Earth? And the overwhelming response is that, well, I've seen that one video where the flat earthers debunk themselves, and I know that it's like for stupid people and blah 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 blah, you know, because I've, like, me personally now, I've seen clips of like Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he's like talking about how, you know, how obvious that it's not flat and how you can prove it using science they've known for thousands of years and blah 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 blah. And it's like, that's not true. For an overwhelming majority of history, most people were, you know, believed in what you see is what you get when you go outside. It's motionless. That's a big one, you know, the flat and the shape of the Earth being proven by quote unquote pictures from space aside, like, it's motionless. It's motionless, and nobody taught me growing up that there are literally 0 experiments that you can do to prove that Earth is in motion. Like, that's a pretty big, that would be a pretty cool thing to mention, you know, when they're kind of teaching you this kind of idea. But I realize now, obviously, they're not gonna frame it in some way that's like into, oh yeah, this is way smarter, where we can just kind of go like, oh no, I sabotaged you. Okay, we should.
Next time we get to that point, we'll
stop and
yeah.
It's okay, we're experts at this part now. To be fair, I was hoping this game wouldn't end too soon because, you know,
I don't think there's any chance of that happening. This game shows, oh man, this shows how, like, gaming isn't just like for fun. I mean, this is seriously frustrating, and like you're learning something. Yeah, I mean, just the ability to overcome tasks. There's something to this. To make it fun, to like, I've had my parents play games, especially my mom. My dad can enjoy them, but my mom, when she tries to play games, she cannot enjoy them for the life of her, because, as you can see, there's certain aspects of games that are quite frustrating, and if you can't learn to, like, roll with the punches and enjoy it, it will be like work. It'll be worse than work. They don't see them as enjoyable in any way for that exact reason.
100%. I totally agree with you. And, like, to me, something like playing Dark Souls, like,
that's a challenge.
helped me in a way. You know, okay, let's go after this next swing.
Yeah.
And then let's go after this next swing.
Yep.
Playing something like Dark Souls, a game that they kind of pitch as like this, you gotta be the gamer's gamer. No. You gotta be the gamer's gamer. Like, Dark Souls was originally kind of pitched as like, this is too hard for even gamers, blah, blah, blah. But in my opinion, like, after having beaten it, I think anybody could beat it, as long as they are willing to kind of, you know, suffer through that experience of kind of, you know. But I think that is definitely like there's a lot of stuff to learn. Growing up,
like this one and Dark Souls and many others, they are incredibly challenging, but they are fair. And there's and there's ways of leveling up. Like in Dark Souls, if you can't pass a certain challenge, well, you can go to a different challenge. You can explore the world more. You're going to find different ways to level up. So you're, like, constantly leveling up your character, and you're leveling up yourself, the player, as well.
Right.
To the point that eventually, okay, we'll go one after each one. So after this one, we'll go.
I totally agree with what you're saying, by the way. Like,
okay, go. Wait one time. Go. Wait.
And then there's probably going to be a checkpoint here.
And go.
Okay, nice.
All right,
We were right there.
Let's stop for just a second.
Okay, yeah.
My hands are literally sweaty, and I
Fair,
can barely
fair.
think while we're doing that.
It's tough.
And I'm so happy that we just got to that checkpoint. I want to just take a sip of water.
Yep.
But yeah, so like even Dark Souls and Souls-like games, the ones they are considered some of the most difficult, they're also the most rewarding, and they're not so difficult that even a novice gamer can't do them. Because I've seen videos where it's like my dad played Dark Souls for his first game ever, and he completed it and he loved the game, and so it's certainly not too difficult even to turn off certain people. Like my mom wouldn't make it through the first 2 minutes, but my dad, I just played Ghosts of Tsushima with him and he did pretty well.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely kind of grew up with this stigma around games where I was almost kind of shamed into like, well, you're wasting your time on games, but then they would spend their time watching TV or reading books, and I kind of equated those things to kind of being similar. Like you're just kind of spending your time, passing your time consuming some form of media.
Right.
And the way I saw it, I almost had this kind of attitude of like, well, in my opinion, games, at least I'm involved. At least I'm thinking and trying to puzzle solve and stuff like that. When you're just watching, you're not really engaged in that kind of. So like in that regard, I think that like Tetris, to me, if we're talking greatest game of all time, I gotta go hands down Tetris. Like it's something that my partner got me into. Like she's been playing Tetris like her whole life basically, and she's like insanely good. I don't know if you've ever seen those people that are just like, it's so fast, it's like a blur. It's that level of like, it's just such a simple game to pick up. Anyone can understand. It's fun all the time, and there's really no ceiling on. It's just as fast as your brain can process the pieces and how they click together. So it's like, as far as like the balance between it's fun, it's hard, it's good. To me, like 100%, it's up there. And I personally think like this isn't really backed up by any kind of science or anything, but I think that it would be a very good thing for kind of older people to kind of stay engaged. I think some kind of simple games like that I think would be really important. I almost think, okay, we gotta I guess we gotta go and kind of wiggle around on the platforms back and forth.
Yeah, just
I also think maybe this would help.
Good idea. Just the level of engagement, more so than just passively watching TV. I would think, like you said, for the older people, must have some way of aiding with Alzheimer's and dementia and that kind of thing.
That's kind of what I wanted to say without saying kind of thing. I didn't know, but I definitely feel like keeping your mind engaged in that way where every day you're doing simple puzzle solving. Okay, okay, you just basically come at me, and then when I see you jump forward, I'll jump back kind of thing.
So
I'll give you that room. Yeah,
because we can't ever be on the same one, probably.
Exactly. That's nice. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's go. This way. I see like the shadow of something scary looking. Okay. Yeah, I definitely think that there is.
Ominously just sitting there, disappeared.
Yeah. Okay, when you go, I'll go.
Go. Ready,
Yeah.
set, go. Ready, set, go. Ready, set, go.
Nice. Checkpoint, please.
Yeah.
I was kind of curious to ask, just on like a personal level, like, do you remember the first game you've ever played or anything like that? Like your first kind of video game?
Right. My dad bought an Atari 2600 when I was super young, and so I had that, and it had like Pac-Man and Space Invaders, that
Which is
little ET game.
Interesting to think about, right? Like, so if we really look at these early games, Space Invaders, like, okay, you're this little spaceship in outer space and there's aliens coming.
Right.
ET, like, that's how they get you, right?
Yeah.
That's really how they get you. Like, you internalize it, and then you just assume that it's real. That's kind of what I'm finding with people in Valorant camps. Like even in Valorant, there's like a poster on the wall in one of the maps that says Earth, and it shows like a sphere, basically, you know, or like, it's everywhere. You know, it's literally everywhere. You can't open up. You open up Overwatch, which is like another shooter game, and the splash screen, right as you open the game, it shows like a globe, you know? It's like...
The subconscious programming is just as pervasive and effective as the overt, you know? Covert,
yeah.
subconscious. And
it's like this deadly mix, you know, where you're barraged your entire life, and if you don't have that moment of like someone planting a... Like, I don't know what I would have done, you know?
Go. Ready, set, go. Ready, set, go.
I didn't jump. I thought I could kind of slip off maybe, and it wouldn't be a big deal. And yeah, so then in that regard, like I was talking about how I had seen those compilation of links of just random videos, like on anonymous message boards, and like one of them was Level, which obviously you voiced a lot of, and I'm not sure like to what extent beyond that you had. Like I don't really know how making the whole movie works, you know, but you're obviously a large contributor and like a big part of that, you know, and it was my first exposure to you, and then through Level, now I have your name on the board, you know. But anyways, let's ready, set, go. Okay, yeah, like that.
Yeah, so Sean Hibbler approached me with the idea for that project, and we worked together pretty closely doing the script for the narration and the ideas for the direction, and he did all the video editing and everything about the further Level series. I didn't do anything after the first one, but yeah, that was a great series and a great way to get people thinking about flat Earth. Not necessarily going to convert you in one video, but a good way to plant the seed and make people want to look into it further. Okay, so ready, set, go. Ready, set, go. Ready, set, go. It's
yeah,
like
I mean,
when you if you don't quite make the jump, it just stretches. Stretches
like
your body until you die, and it's like this ominous feeling of like, you know, you're not gonna get there, but it hasn't got like that. It hasn't quite broken yet.
Yeah, I mean, I remember having this feeling like we had watched that Why the Lie, and then shortly after we had watched Level, and then like as it ended, like I kind of had this. I think it was an advantage because I had watched it with my partner, and we were kind of able to both. I don't know, when you have someone there to kind of validate, like, I'm not crazy, right? Like, that's pretty convincing. Do you have any rebuttals? Do you have it? Like, I remember literally thinking and saying, like, babe, I'm pretty sure the Earth is flat. It was, like, I never thought that I would, you know, like, be this flat earther or whatever. Like, I never, you know, I didn't know that that's really an option. And now I'm thinking, like, one of my statements that I say a lot is like, isn't it crazy how in 2025, with all our technology, that there are still flat earthers? You know, and that's something that everybody can agree with me, whether you are like, you know, a hardcore globe proponent or not, because they think like, yeah, well, there's so much science and proof or whatever, and I'm thinking, yeah, and despite all your
earthers all coming around,
right,
yeah,
like despite all. Exactly, like, how do you think that's still possible? Like, you think I haven't encountered a satellite image? Like, oh, okay, wait, I didn't know that they had a satellite image. Like, you know, it's like, it really gets into what is proof, you know? What is proof? Is proof really an image? Is proof really a video? Like, especially now in 2025, it's like, and then that would be such a, in my opinion, like, foolish statement, you know?
Right. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2,
Oh, I think
I think that was me. He just like fell off the edge there.
I think I jumped again, and maybe it pulled you.
Oh,
An accident. We gotta wait on the next. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Sorry, listeners. This is this is what it's like listening to somebody playing a game. So it's interrupted and whatnot. Imagine I'm just in a lobby here with UV and E, and you know, we start talking about some of these subjects while we're trying to carry this glass around. It's a very kind of intimate process. You get to know somebody, and there's a real conversion that happens. I can see it's usually younger people, here we go, 1, 2, 3, that you're talking to, and I can hear their voices go from, this guy is off his rocker, to, this guy is kind of interesting, and now I have extra questions that I want to ask. Because at first it's like you're just kind of assaulting them with truths, because this is the method of activism you're doing. But then once they get over the initial hump of, some of them actually do ridicule you, and then once they get past that idea and they're like, well, he's still going, and he's still actually kind of making more sense than all the other adults and the TV screens and the textbooks and everything, so let me ask him this question and that question. And they start asking you these questions that they think, you know, oh, he's going to give the off-the-wall answer. And usually you do have the conspiratorial position, but you're able to relate it in such a way that I feel like these kids or young adults are becoming genuinely curious by the end of your conversation. And so like I said, even though as a YouTube video, people watching this, it might be pretty boring watching us break this glass over and over again and change the conversation from truth talk to 1, 2, 3, ready, set, go. But if you're the one actually doing it, this really is a excellent form of activism, and it's also fun. So I mean, you can have fun while doing something that's beneficial.
That's kind of how we see it. Yeah, that's kind of how we see it in terms of like, it's easy for me to kind of relate to the people that I talk to, because I mean, I had their similar experience, you know. Okay, we got a new
This is a boxy one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Looks like the glasses thing pretty durable though.
It's very like when we come too close together than when we go far away. We can
I
stretch
agree.
a lot, but we can't condense very well.
Yeah, so it's very easy for me to be like, guys, do you ever feel like school sucks? You know, like, gee, I wonder why that is. Like, do you almost feel like every student that I know of essentially has the same story? They graduate school, they do everything they were told by their parents, by society, and they come out of the school system thinking, I don't know anything. Like, in terms of like how to navigate this world we live in, you know, like, I don't know how to shave. I don't know how to pay taxes. I don't know how to, you know, change a tire. Like, what did they teach me? Oh, they taught me World War II, the mustache guy was bad. And then they taught me that, like, basically, you know, you're on a globe, flying through space, all this stuff. These are your gods, Einstein and Newton and stuff. Like, they don't teach it. Like, people try to attack me sometimes, and they're like, well, I'm sure if you went to school, like, you would have a better understanding of blah 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 blah, or if you spoke to like a physicist or anything. And it's like, bring your physicist. I want him to explain to me how we have pressurized gas on Earth without a container. Like, I'm just so curious what their rebuttal is, you know, because like, the answer is gravity. Gravity acts as a sort of container. If you like, like, you know, like, this really doing a lot of work for you there. To me, like, the two things that I encounter whenever there's like any sort of kind of resistance or feedback or anything, it's gravity and refraction. Oh man, the R word. if I have
Relativity
like,
is another.
oh yeah.
If
Well,
there's two
relativity
guys
is
moving on a train,
nobody
how many
can
times do you
ever
hit a
know
train event?
ever. You can never be right about this. You can never be wrong about this. Like, there's just like it's such like a cop out intellectually to basically just say that.
Everything's
Well,
relative.
everything is relative. Yeah, it. Come on. And even then, what I say now is like, I'll grant you that, okay, sure, let's just say we were, you know, like what people hit me with is, well, if you were born on a train your whole life and the train was constantly in motion, you know, then you wouldn't feel it, right?
Right.
And it's like, okay, sure. Let's just say hypothetically we could be, but then shouldn't there still be some form of experiment that you like? Why should I believe it then still, you know? Like if you give me an experiment or something, and then you kind of see the wheels turning a little, and like they can't come up with a real experiment because there isn't one. Like I've looked, you know, I've tried. There's nothing. There's nothing. So they basically have this complete blind faith system. People really don't like that. I find as though there is this kind of divide between. Oh, I don't even know what happened there. I think maybe it needed to be tilted. There's this kind of divide between religion and science, where people kind of criticize religion as like, oh, well, you need all this blind faith to kind of, believe that stuff. And I mean, I'll grant that. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you need to, accept without proof, which is fair enough. But what they don't tell you is how much of the science is literally just that. It's a religion. The globe religion. People don't like when I say that, though. People hate the idea of being told essentially that, like, we are in a cult. A method that I've kind of had to hone over my time is realizing that, again, you can't reach everybody, and everybody has a different kind of method of how they need to be spoken to about these topics, with some people that are kind of smart asses, like you can kind of banter back. With people that are kind of receptive, you can kind of try to relate to them with like, here was my experience, so it's like, it's definitely been a process where there have been some failures, especially at first when people kind of would attack me. And I felt like, I know I'm right about this topic, and you literally haven't, you don't even know what you're talking about. Like, you're just speaking from a position of this kind of confident ignorance. But obviously, we've all been there, though. Like, that's just part of being human, The issue is that they believe that they have, like, it's sides. On my side versus their side, and they think that, I'm just some random guy on Valorant, and I'm not backed by anything. Oops, we should have, And on their side, they have all the scientists, they have all the NASA guys, and all the whatever,
The
So
authority, the experts,
right.
And the
Right.
explanations. They have explanations. We have experience. That seems
Right.
to be the main difference between the flat earthers and the globers, and they're so confident in their experts and their explanations that are given by experts, versus the flat earth reasoning is always based on something that we can directly experience. It's demonstrable, it's empirical, and then the things that they're telling us, you have to believe them. They're explanations that are either based on things that they're finding through their Hubble telescope, or that you have to believe from their experts. It's not like something that you can go out and test for yourself, which is exactly what the flat earth information is doing. And then that's another divide, because it's like some people are willing to trust their own experience, and they're critical enough to think about things before just blindly believing what they're told. And then some people just really aren't. It's like leaders and followers, rebels and sheep. There really are, different types of humanity, and certain types fall victim to belief systems or disinformation in just this way. And fallacies as well, and the influence of logical fallacies is unfortunate, because things can be completely illogical, but if it's said in just the right way, or you use the right supposed evidence, it becomes proof to certain people. Like you said, What is proof? When does evidence become proof? It's actually pretty arbitrary. I have 200 proofs And people will be like, you can't have 200 proofs. It's just one. If it's real, it's just one. It's like, yeah, but even if I give you 200, you still say it's fake. So
Exactly.
there is no number of evidences or strength, a certain way of gauging the strength of evidence so that it becomes noticeable and obvious to everyone that, oh, this is proven, oh, this is real. And that's why the standard of proof for your average glober is seeing a globe, seeing a picture of a globe.
It's from space. Like they say it's from space. Like, what's your rebuttal?
Right. Well, it's a composite image, or, anytime you've ever seen the horizon curve, it's because it was either filmed with a fisheye lens, seen through a window that is slightly curved, or CGI completely. And most people are unaware of that or unable to distinguish between them.
They'll deny it immediately.
What? Say that again?
They'll just deny it.
Just
They'll
deny it.
say, well, no, that's not, like, no, like, it's, like, bro.
Exactly. End of rant. Let me try to focus.
Oh, no, fair enough. You kind of do what I end up doing, where you kind of have this stream of consciousness. You kind of are focusing on the game, but then the mouth just kind of,
the mouth moves itself. The fingers are moving itself too. I don't know what just happened the past couple minutes. Yeah,
I think
talk about
it's interesting
meditation. Yeah, I lost. Yeah, you lose kind of awareness of what you're doing because you're so in both
flow
things.
state.
I was very in what I was just talking about, and I was also very into what my fingers are doing.
Exactly. It's if I was like, hey, sorry, could you repeat that? You're like,
no way.
No.
What was I saying?
Yeah, exactly. No, and I'm definitely like into and listening and stuff too. Then I totally agree. We're at this moment in time where people delegate their opinions. Oh no, I kind of got hit. People delegate their opinions to we all kind of do it in a way, to any source that they trust, any source that they think is either authority, either it's someone that the masses trust or their peers trust or what everybody else believes. Like, how many of us are guilty of, you go to, like, let's say a YouTube comment or something, and then the top comment has thousands of thumbs up and it's like funny or something, and then maybe it changes your mind, or you feel like aligning with it or whatever, or you're like, that's a good point. Like, people are at this time where we just are giving away we don't decide for ourselves anymore on a lot of these topics. There's too many decisions to make. You can't stop and super evaluate every single one. Some decisions don't matter as much as others. Like, there's like trivial decisions, like, what am I going to eat today or whatever. Like, I don't really care. I'm not personal. Okay, let's go now. But like,
Absolutely.
it's very.
Oh, shoot, sorry. Give me a second.
No, sorry. Go on.
All right, actually. So we have to
Or yeah,
1,
whatever.
2, 3.
Okay, yeah.
And
then
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna have to bounce.
How did we do this for our first try? I know.
1,
Okay.
2, 3. Oh, I didn't bounce far enough. Oh yeah, and then I lost I had like the thing I was gonna say and totally forgot it.
Fair enough. Stuff about delegating opinions, and then
Oh yeah, people outsourcing their thinking. That seems to be what is happening now. And
Exactly.
I've heard that exact same comment saying like, yeah, questioning everything, questioning science and stuff is fine, but some things are just so well established or that we don't have time to question everything. And isn't the shape of the Earth one of those things that's just been known for so long that
so.
we can not worry about that? So in one way or another, people have made that comment. Okay.
Yeah, I totally know where you're coming from in terms of like, it's they have this notion that it's like such a proof, or rather it's so proven based on literal speculation. I kind of try to break it down and try to really explain, like, it's men on Earth like you, like, it's just people on Earth. They haven't gone up there to do the science on the sun, to measure it, it's all speculation.
Right, and people are like, well, there would be whistleblowers, there would be all these people would know. They don't get the idea of compartmentalization, the fact that only very few people at the top of any organization really know what's going on, and those are the few people that have to be in on it. Everyone else is just going along with taking orders, and they believe the company line just like everyone else. So it's not that everybody at NASA knows the Earth is flat and they're in on the lie. Very few people actually have to be in on it. Just the astronauts and a couple few higher ups. Everyone else that's working, doing, all the menial jobs. There's hundreds of thousands of jobs that NASA does that have nothing to do with the actual deception that is going on. So no, not so many people actually have to be in on it as people think. And people who give this caveat are usually unaware of the influence of secret societies in the world and the fact that they actually operate in the background of many institutions, and you have to be brought into the secret society to get in any position of power in these various institutions. And that's known by the people that are in there, or the people that research these things, but by the general population, they have no idea that these systems even exist. So the idea that there is that level of organization and secrecy, they had no idea. And so if you're coming into this not knowing that, it does seem like, it just seems impossible that there's this level of deceptive organization in the world. But the more you research it, you'll find that this is happening over and over again throughout history in various sectors of society, and it's not conspiratorial or crazy. It's actually how the world operates and has operated for quite a while.
It's funny because now when I hear some name and it's like something doesn't strike me right, I'm just like, is this person a Freemason? And it's like, yes, this person has been a part of the Masonic Lodge or whatever. And I'm just like, interesting. Like, very curious. Seems to be quite a trend. Like,
absolutely, especially with astronauts. I mean, almost every NASA astronaut is a Freemason or is affiliated through their family. And I think most likely the other space organizations and like SpaceX and these are the supposed private fronts. Now that NASA's being exposed, they're pushing these other ones more so that people can just be like, why are you picking
trust
on
Elon?
Trust Elon, the Neuralink brain chip guy, the guy literally bringing the new world order to us.
It's sad. There's people I talk to at work that literally, isn't it so cool, his robots and the cars drive themselves? I'm like, isn't that a bit like weird? Like, sure, the technology in this idyllic world where nobody is evil is cool. I want a robot that does my laundry, but I don't trust any man to code him for me in some way that, I can trust,
Right.
But it's kind of scary to see the level of trust people have in these systems because they just see phones are fun and games are fun and movies are fun and I like technology, and they just kind of go about the world with a smile on their face. And you're totally right. Like, until you kind of get exposed to this, I really think that knowledge of the whole secret society is this underlying, like, you really need to internalize that. You need to kind of like see that it's not just the astronaut. George Washington, on his tombstone or whatever, there's like this giant plaque. It says Freemason and First President. Benjamin Franklin, Beethoven, all these people throughout history that we were told about happen to be part of this club. This big club that is basically the secret. You got to do these oaths, it's like, huh? I've never done no secret oaths or whatever. Like, that doesn't strike me as like an honest, normal guy. There's none of these people in these high influential positions that are just like Bob from Utah and he grew potatoes or whatever. He's just a simple man. It's always like, what do you mean you've done these rites and you've done these initiations with the blindfolds and the swords and the whatever and swear to secrecy? Like, huh? That's not normal. Normal people don't do that.
It's been normalized. Like with what do they call it? Hazing rituals with the societies that they have in college. Those are just like grooming you for secret societies. Those are like
this is normal.
Mini
it's totally
societies.
Normal.
Yeah.
And
it's not at all normal for most people. I have no interest in going in a windowless lodge with a bunch of men I don't really know because I've been invited, and then you have to read all these little passages that you read. They lead you around with a blindfold. You have to say all these weird things, do these weird rituals, and then at the end of one of the first degrees, when they remove the blindfold, you have a bunch of swords stuck at your neck from all the brothers that are in the lodge, and you're swearing that you will never divulge any of the secrets that you learn there on the lodge. I mean, that's traumatizing, honestly, and people willingly subject themselves to this thing. And it's like the ancient NDA, the non-disclosure agreement before it existed. They were blood oaths. So you're swearing every degree you rise in these secret societies, gruesome oaths that say things that they will do to you and your family if you divulge the secrets of Masonry. So I mean, people willingly take these oaths, and they're not going to break them, very easily. Though Masons have in history, Masons like Captain Morgan, where we get the name of the rum, and John Robison, they broke the oaths of Masonry and wrote books about them, and then were murdered as a result.
Yeah, it's like that kind of says something about what happens when like it's not just these guys that are role playing. I mean, it is, but they take it so seriously for a reason. It's like, to me, it's like incredibly cringe to imagine myself playing dress up with all these other guys and that I don't know, and we're all just sounds like a cult in like a Dungeons and Dragons game. You walk into a room and they're doing this ritual in the dark or whatever. It's like that sounds like that's not normal. That doesn't sound like a bunch of truth-seeking guys that you should be friends with, But then I also, part of me, obviously I think they're evil as an organization, but part of me, like, I feel bad for some of these people that get swept up. They don't know what they're getting themselves into, and all of a sudden you've sworn this oath, that is like serious, very serious. And I'm sure that there's many that are kind of shitting themselves and they're like, what did I get myself into? And now I'm in too deep, kind of thing, like that must suck. But then it's also, I mean, it comes with the territory. Don't go to these weird places and do these weird things. It's like, it's evil, like there is this huge understanding that I have now that the world around me, in terms of like the people in positions of influence, are evil, and it's no coincidence that evil rises to the top. It's not just like a natural thing that has to happen. It's like they're plants. It's exactly like you said. Like, you get the reward of doing these kind of rites is that they will give you the money and the fame and success, and that's why you won't ever hear the truth from these people. They're not going to go on the podium and say, NASA is not going to go and say, what, we're criminals and we've been lying and we deserve to be tried, and we're sorry we lied about everything. Like, that's, you're never ever going to get that. You're going to get it from some crazy guy, who's gone down these rabbit holes and been like, I can walk you through, but you gotta, walk with me here, because like this is quite the journey.
Got it, man. All right, so
anyways,
speaking of the journey, somehow continue this. So, should we wait for that hammer?
I'm looking at this hammer pass. Yeah. So I'm thinking once it's in that kind of middle point, right above these bouncy balls, we'll go.
We jump right when it's at the middle, and then just keep on going until we
just
get to
hold,
the platform.
Just send it, and hope we can do it. All right. So after this next pass.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Give us a
nice. Please. I think we will, as long as we get past here. Nice. Okay. This looks a bit precarious. Oh yeah. Ether moment. So that's actually another interesting kind of like topic. Like I think believe in this idea of like the ether, right? Like would you think it's fair to say that it's like a sea of electricity? That's kind of how I pitch it to people who have never really heard the topic before.
Yeah, it does seem that there is an ether, and it was like known and what do you call it?
Everybody accepted.
It was a given. Yeah, it was like the fifth element. It was taken out and replaced with space,
which is literally nothing.
Right, and now something like what do they call it? The collective unconscious, or things affecting things at a distance. There's no model for it. Like ether, basically, it's like all of everything is connected through this etheric medium. And so even
Right.
air exists within the ether. Now,
Right, like the sun,
yeah,
like is flying through something, you know, like
right now it's nothing.
right. It's like it's just this insane when you really kind of internalize what space is, like as in it's literally an abstract. It's not a physical thing. So this idea of like, yeah, well, we're bending and warping it, like, huh? Like,
And
how are
it's
you?
time's involved now too. Space time.
Yeah.
Somehow
Like, and
that's
we're
a dimension.
bending time.
Time is a dimension of space. That's part of relativity that makes absolutely no sense. Is to take
It's just
time,
words.
yeah, and act like width, height, and depth, and then time is part of the same system. It's like they're two totally separate things. The three dimensions in space are what they are, and to add time like it's a fourth spatial dimension, it's like no, time is temporal. Time is a whole different. You're taking 3 apples and 1 orange, and you're like, look at these 4 apples. It's not.
The thing is, they veil it behind this idea of like, well, it's science, and if you can't comprehend it, it's because your mind is not that mind of a genius, such as, you know, it's
because you
like,
question things. So if you're a critical thinker and you question things, so we'll go up the ramp, then that means you're dumb. But if you just blindly believe whatever authorities say, expert opinions, that's
you're a genius.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, why are you clipping through the floor? Oh, there we go.
I think it's just like I think I'm really on the platform, but the game is like giving you that kind of info in a weird way.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like that with Janky. I think this is maybe a game that was made by 1 or 2 developers. So
Sure. Oh, that's another point. I like indie games and indie music and indie movies, and I'm an independently published author. I like independent books. That tends to be where I find the media worth consuming, is in the independent sphere. Once in a while, some good stuff makes it into the commercial mainstream
Right.
arena, but you're better off looking to the independent publishers and developers of media, both for innovation and for like deep, meaningful content, because
Right.
the mainstream companies are just interested in profit and making
Money.
a dollar, and so they're just doing what works in a very soulless, hollow
Yeah.
manner, versus independent developers and publishers who are passionate and driven so much that, like this game was probably made by 1 or 2 people. They had such a passion for the project that they put all the manpower into it themselves, versus the other the big developers, they put money into it, so they got way more manpower, but it's people that are just hired to do a programming job. They're doing what they're told. I'm sure they're having fun, but it's not their vision. They're all
Right.
They're working on a corporate vision, and the longer these, even the really good developers, stay in business, the more soulless, hollow, and corporatized they inevitably become due to their success. It's the same with good directors. It's the same with good music. It's like their best albums were the first stuff back when they were starving artists, and then once they became popular because they truly deserved the fame, they really were good, now they have to focus on a whole bunch of different aspects of their life and aspects of the music industry, and they're also kowtowing to various influences, both above them and their newfound audience that they now have to cater to, versus before when they were just being honest with themselves and writing whatever came to them. Now it's like, oh well, they like this song, and I gotta make a song kind of like that, otherwise it's gonna tank. And so there's all these new concerns that come into play, and it becomes much more difficult to manage. And if you are just a normal artist doing your art, and now suddenly all this managerial stuff suddenly and advertising and everything becomes more important than the art itself, that's when a lot of people end up failing. So you make it only to fail.
Right.
Once you've made it, you make it mainstream. 1, 2, 3. Nice. And then you become what they would term sold out, because now you can no longer maintain the standard that you had previously.
You're not authentic anymore. It's not you.
I mean, it's kind of, in a way, I feel for it. Some people, I think, truly do just sell right out.
Yeah, they're in it to make, like, how do I use this to make money?
But then other people, they just get successful. They don't really sell out, but just other aspects of being successful make the process of making your art as good as it used to be difficult. So I'm sympathetic to that aspect of it as well.
Yeah, I mean, I totally 100% agree. Everything you said is like, I totally agree. I'm so sick of every single movie now. It's like
a sequel.
Here's Godzilla 10, here's Fast and Furious 20, here's this. Like, oh, the first one, you guys liked it? Like, how do we milk this for the next 1,000 years? Marvel movie number 500, Simpsons season 50, you know? It's like, it's no longer about, oh, these guys had like a cool idea for like a whatever universe that they wanted to create in some form of fiction or whatever it is, a song, you know, that they felt inspired. Now it's just like, oh, that made a lot of money. Like, we gotta cash in on that.
That's exactly it. The industry is so bottom dollar focused that nothing's getting made nowadays unless there's like a focus group and a fan base already in place that they can show to investors that, look, here's how many people that we can guarantee are going to go out and see this first weekend, blah, blah, blah. And that's what the investors want. They don't want a good art project with a new, you know, whatever, independent film that exposes this and that. No, they couldn't care less. They're putting hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars on the line, and they're not necessarily doing it for art. And if they did, they'd go broke. It's part of the sympathy thing. Again, if you think of it from these people's point of view, it's actually quite difficult to fund high budget art projects because they don't have an established audience, and they're so hit or miss that you could be completely throwing your money away versus something that's just a sequel or make a cartoon into a live action remake like Disney keeps doing. They already know there's a huge fan base that's going to go out to them, so the investors are at least going to make some kind of return on their investment. And that's, you know, in this economy, I'm sure that's all they want to deal with. But for us, the consumers, man, the kind of movies, music, video games, and books that are coming out, the mainstream channels now are crap. More and more so. Like every year that goes by.
I've seen it before.
Yeah,
I've read
the books in the bookstore. I don't want to read any of them. The mainstream movies, I barely want to see any, and I'm disappointed by the ones I do see. Music's kind of hit or miss. I find some indie and mainstream, and video games also hit or miss. There's much more indie games that I find that I like than mainstream games. And like I said, the mainstream developers all seem to eventually fall prey to the problem of, like we're saying the movie studios do, they're over budgeting their hit releases, putting way too, it takes them like 10 years to get GTA 6.
Right? And by the time it's out, it's going to suck.
Exactly, for Elder Scrolls 6. And yeah, by the time it comes out, it'll be filled with like woke propaganda and DEI submissions and whatever. And like, I have to be constantly online, even for single player.
Ridiculous.
Loot boxes, you name it. All the crap that day one glitches and fixes in early access for 3 years and then come out unplayable.
And now people defend that all. People are like, well,
it has to be that way. That's all they've ever seen.
What do you mean?
You don't remember back when cartridges came out and there was never a fix? The game just already worked forever?
And they worked, yeah. I do kind of, like, okay, at least the rebuttal I see for, like, cartridges is at least they were, like, it's easier to kind of make console games because you can expect the hardware it will run on, so you can ensure that it's consistent. Because now if you're making, like, a computer game, you're just some indie dev and someone who's like, well, it doesn't work for me on Linux or whatever, you're like, I don't know how to help you. Like, it's, you know, fair enough, you know, sure, but, like, I totally agree with how I feel as though the more control that a person has, the second I see a company is going public or something, I'm just like, well, it's over. Like the ride was fun, you know, like these guys, it's now about the shareholders, it's now about the profit, it's no longer about the vision. It's now big enough that these guys got their ticket out of this system, you know, and they're taking it. And I can't necessarily like blame people for selling out because, I mean, dollar, right? We are enslaved by this dollar system. That's a whole nother rabbit hole, is like, what is the dollar? You know, we spend our whole lives, it's the new god on earth as far as I'm concerned. We spend our whole lives basically being told we have to yearn for this dollar. Well, it's not that we're being told, it's that they have made it a requirement in order to... That's tricky.
Yeah.
I don't know if we got to keep jumping there or something.
I was trying to keep jumping, but then it didn't stick. Didn't stick the landing.
It's like, it's crazy. I really realized that we are slaves to this system. And then it's really like, well, who owns centralized banking? And, you know, it's like, again, Masonic influences, and just like these people at the top, they know exactly what they're doing. Who took the gold? Like, why did they go from our money being backed by a physical thing to just a digital thing? We don't even work for money now. I work for the idea of money. I work for a number in my app that goes up and down, and if I have enough, I get to keep living my normal life and I have a roof over my head, and if I don't, then, like, sorry, you're screwed. And if you don't, like, there's no safety nets for you in society. We don't treat people who, you know, it's the ultimate status symbol. What's interesting is, like, if I upset someone in an online game, let's say we're playing Valorant or something, the first insult they'll hit me with is, they have more money than me. How much money do you have? Hey, can you go band for band? You've got more racks than me. It's
wow,
like...
That sounds like a new generation thing. I don't remember that ever being a thing in my generation.
Yeah, 100%. They think it's all about, I mean, when you look at, like, the modern, you kind of touched on, like, how modern, like, music and stuff and movies and stuff, like, all the modern hip-hop music, for example, is about
how rich you are and how much
Rolexes,
you have and stuff.
yeah, Mercedes-Benzes and Hennessy and branding and stuff, and it's like, I don't see that it's basically an ad. It's an ad, and you're kind of being like MK Ultra almost into kind of like they're just repeating this kind of thing. And if you see these people you perceive are successful, you know, and you're like, well, this Kanye West is talking about you know, money and fame and whatever, and it kind of makes you think that, oh, well, that's what it's all about, you know. Again, they think this guy is cool, or whoever. I'm not saying Kanye West specifically, but whoever it is, you know, and they're like, yeah, well, if he's promoting that, then I think it's cool now too, you know, and they just like, they get swept up in that, and they never stop to think, like, what is this? What is this worthless system? Not to mention the dollar is losing money to inflation, which is like, okay, the average kid hears that and they're just like, I'm not an economist, I don't know what that means, I don't know what when you really look into it, they're basically just printing trillions for these wars and for these space agencies and for these whatever vaccine research and cancer research and all this stuff. They're printing money for reasons that we are psyoped into thinking are normal, or, you know, like noble, you know, because like that's kind of how they get you. I used to think that I bet there's a checkpoint right there. I think that's on me. Like the way that they pitch, let's say, the space lie, they've invented this infinite place full of mysteries and danger, and thus it's a noble thing to explore because, well, things from space could kill us all at any time, right? Like meteors could come and aliens could invade, and the solar super hypernova flare, blah 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 blah. It's like you hear that and you're like,
die at some point and kill us all. Yeah, there's a bunch of these things in their fake space that are very dangerous and scary, just like their nuclear bomb hoax. Which, sorry.
Yeah. That was a big
I
one
think
for
that's
me.
the main purpose of that, is to scare people into thinking that there are weapons, especially now with like the idea of suitcase nukes and things like that. They want people to think that there are
Everyone.
weapons that exist that are so destructive and small that you could destroy. Jump ahead. That is no checkpoint.
Well, what's
it's
going on?
frozen.
Oh, we're probably just going up the elevator and then a checkpoint.
They think you can, or they want us to believe that you can. Is a checkpoint, please?
Was there a checkpoint?
I don't think there.
Okay, yeah, here.
That. Sorry. Yeah, they want us to believe that it's possible that you could have a device as small as a suitcase that could blow up a city or several blocks in a city. It just doesn't exist. There
Big Bang.
The really Big Bang. There isn't that kind of explosive force that can be kept in such a small space. The videos that we've seen of huge mushroom clouds forming is mostly been done through huge stacks of TNT that they've done. And so if you just blow up a bunch of dynamite, it's going to make a mushroom cloud. And if you look at the old nuclear videos that we all were scared
They're
of as
just
a
so
child,
funny.
they're so funny to go back and look at now with adult eyes and you know, the way technology has progressed. If you look at those videos, it's obvious that you're looking at models. Those aren't actual videos. So we've been propagandized with the idea of nuclear weapons, and like Hiroshima and Nagasaki, everybody points to. So again, these cities were firebombed, just like many other Japanese cities, and you're looking at the remnants of a firebombing, not a nuclear bombing. They said that, you know, nuclear blasts would leave radiation for thousands of years, and there would be deformities.
Chernobyl.
Yeah, that's right. And there's not. There's flowers growing. Everything's fine. Anytime there's an explosion of any great degree, there is radiation formed, but it doesn't stick around for very long. And that's what we see in Chernobyl and in other areas. Nowhere where the supposed nuclear disasters have happened has there actually been a long-term, you know, issue about it. Nuclear power is essentially just steam energy. And there's a guy, Galen Windsor, who worked...
100%.
Yeah, you've seen him. He'll swim and drink in nuclear waste on camera to show people how non-toxic this stuff actually is. And we're spending all this money to like bury nuclear materials 100 feet into the bedrock so that it's, you know, doesn't affect us or whatever. And it's, again, one of these scams that is making them a bunch of money. So anytime you say you have to get rid of some nuclear waste, now you can borrow millions of dollars because apparently this stuff that Galen Windsor had no problem swimming in and drinking is so toxic that we've got to bury it, you know, beneath the earth. There's a bunch of little scams like this that, you know, paleontology is another one, dinosaurs.
Oh, yeah.
These things don't exist, but if you take a bunch of old giant bones or elephant bones, whales, stick them together and say you found a new reptile, it's become a huge industry. And before dinosaurs were ever a term, there were supposedly living dragons that people talked about.
Yeah.
So the large reptiles, so a lot of these bones could be coming from human giants, which absolutely existed, and it's trying to be covered up, and dragons, which are written about. It's replete in the history books of people talking about literal dragons, describing them, their dimensions. Even, you know, they've seen the Marco Polo describes them, the ones that he saw in China, and in Chinese traditions, they had
Everywhere.
Yeah, they're everywhere, and they're not just symbolic back in the day, but they were endangered. I saw a reference in an encyclopedia in, I think it was the 30s, that referenced dragons existing but being endangered, nearly extinct. So the idea, dinosaurs came around like 12 years after Darwin came up with the idea of monkey-man evolution. Richard Owen came up with this idea of dinosaurs, and he was a museum curator. He was able to just take a bunch of bones, put them together, and say, oh, we found this whole new species. They ended up finding hundreds of new species, which over time have been found to be frauds. Like if you look back at the history of dinosaur discoveries, almost half of them now are not even recognized as legit dinosaurs because they've been found to be frauds or been found to be part of some other animal or some other dinosaur that is currently considered legit, but that old one isn't. The whole history of paleontology looks like the history of a pyramid scheme, like a multi-marketing, multi-level marketing scam. And
With the carbon dating.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, oh no, it's just totally, I 100% agree with everything you said about like nukes and dinosaurs. I mean, I will admit that the places that I got most of my information was you have like this 3-hour video called the nuclear, I'm sorry, something like the nuclear hoax or something, nuclear bombs never existed, something like that. I saw that, and it's just like, it looks so fake, because it is, right? Like, it's just this collection of clips. That's honestly what I like about a lot of your content is, right now we're just talking about it, sure, and we're quote unquote like we're not proving it or whatever, but when I watched your videos, it's a collection of clips and you're like, here's what they showed and told everybody this is real. Look for yourself and tell, like just look at the way that it's presented. It's in such a way that if you're being intellectually honest, there is something up, you know? And then I agree with the whole dinosaur thing. You have a 30-minute video about the dinosaurs talking about how, you know, all this stuff, like they don't teach that. You can't find that on Google, on Wikipedia, you know, like you're not going to find that on the front page of your YouTube recommended or whatever. Like most people don't even know that the algorithms are on purpose designed to suppress that kind of content. Like to me, I hope I get that little badge of honor under my video that's like flat earth, misinformation, blah blah blah. Whatever I see, that's kind of how it almost confirms to me. That might be kind of fallacious thinking, but I see the way that certain topics get attacked, and it kind of makes me interested in terms of like, why are they trying so hard in order to suppress this, to make me think that I would be silly and stupid in order to even consider this topic, you know? And I see the way that it's kind of like, what I saw was even on 4chan, which like most people, if you don't know, 4chan is this anonymous message board notorious for having a kind of no rules and stuff. There's different boards on it which are kind of focused, you know, so I would say that there's quite a lot of innocent stuff there if you just want like there's a board for just animals or just cooking or whatever, and I think that there's a ton of value in terms of it's quote unquote anonymous. Obviously these days with all the data harvesting and all the evil technology and stuff, like nothing, I don't believe anything is really anonymous, but at least there's this illusion of anonymity, which I think is definitely powerful. But even in a place like 4chan, I get permabanned for talking about stuff like flat earth. So when I see that, I'm being banned for saying stuff like, well, what we've been told about light and stuff is very difficult to prove. This idea that light travels forever, like a common topic that gets brought up is like, how does sunset work on a flat earth or whatever? It's never been explained. I'm like, are you serious? What do you mean it's never been explained? Light doesn't travel forever, period. On Earth, in your entire life, light has never, ever, ever, ever traveled forever, ever, under any circumstance. Why doesn't your phone flashlight light up the whole night sky? Because it's a weak little light, and light gets absorbed by the atmos as it travels, and it's like attenuation, and it's just, that's how it works. The sun is the same thing. Its light just doesn't reach you. It's not, you need to distance yourself from this idea that the light speed can go forever only through this medium of space where it's literally nothingness or whatever. That's the only way they've been able to justify it, but not in reality, not here on Earth, you know? The light, again, it's just one of these topics. But when I just say that, no, actually, light gets attenuated as you travel, I get banned. It's like, huh? What does that mean? That just leads me to think. Meanwhile, I see all sorts of gore and violence, and I see daily videos of drone footage and all sorts of that. Sorry, we should probably 3, 2, 1 there. I see like drone footage and all this kind of all manners of violence and stuff that I don't think is good to kind of show. You know, there's this desensitization towards violence and all that stuff. Like and porn, like there's an insane amount of just like random sexual content that I see all over the internet now, and it's really kind of dangerous in my opinion. Like I grew up my whole life kind of with this bias because I like technology and I love the internet, especially back in the day when the internet was like more pure. I'm not sure, were you kind of around in the early days of the internet, like as it was kind of emerging and stuff?
Absolutely.
Like
yeah,
it was
I've
such a
seen
pure
the whole progression,
transformation.
Yes.
Anyways, can you give us a count?
Oh, okay.
And I'll jump.
1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh, what?
I
didn't
think
jump for some
it's like
reason.
so tight. Yeah, so it's like the transformation of the internet. I've seen it go from this kind of pure, it was just people that were trying to make stuff that they thought was cool, you know, message boards and blogs and this very personal thing. And now it's like, again, we kind of touched on it with like how it's become this way to make money, right? The internet is a way to make money. It's all just this, instead of talking to a person, you're navigating a catalog, whether it's Amazon or Uber Eats or Netflix or whatever it is. You're just browsing a pre-made catalog by some company that is, you know, catered already and pre-filtered and kind of whatever. It's very difficult. Whenever I'm trying to search some of these truther topics, I go to like Yandex instead of Google. It's like some guy's blog, and it's like the most insightful thing I've ever seen ever. But like you'll never find that like simply and easily, you know, if you aren't really looking. I think I just need to go all the way to the edge of that platform.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, shit, he went over.
I think I maybe needed to give you a little bit more room there.
The spaces where it's condensed are much harder than the spaces where we're extended. We can extend like Stretch Armstrong, but when we come together too close, it just breaks.
I think we might even be able to just
go right
pretty much, yeah.
Cool. That makes it easy.
Yeah.
Oh, if I can keep my controller straight.
Yeah, for me, like that was a big kind of thing for me. The nuclear bomb hoax, in my opinion, is one of the most like relevant in our day-to-day lives, more so I think than space. Kind of, obviously the space thing is huge and like the ground under our feet and the lies about it, but like to the average person and what they are kind of concerned about mentally and stuff, it's like this idea of nuclear bombs. They had to essentially invent this super weapon that can wipe humanity out so that they could use it as a tool to scare us. Again, I think the term that I use for it like a lot when I'm talking about it is like fear-based mind control or trauma-based mind control.
Right.
Kind of like, if you genuinely believe that there could be a nuclear bomb that goes off, you know, at any time, then all of a sudden you're a bit more okay with maybe the military having surveillance and ensuring that
countries to ensure our safety, right?
So have you seen, there's this one video, it's called The Staircase of Disbelief. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. No. Oh man, it was in some of the links. No, that's my bad, I went a little early. We should have gone on the next one. In my opinion, it was one of the most profound things I've ever seen. Again, it was in that kind of anonymous message board compilation of links kind of thing. By the way, whoever's out there doing that stuff, like props to you, man. They really kind of were the reason I was able to find Eric and see his kind of content for myself. And like a rebuttal that I hear a lot is like, well, how do you know you're not going from one liar to another, you know, like how can you trust this content over other content, you know? And my answer to that is like, when I see your content, you're not trying to really change my I mean, yeah, you are, sure, but the way that it's presented is not in this you have to believe this kind of thing. You're just like, dude, check this out, check out this this nuclear diorama thing, and then the camera doesn't blow up, you know? Anyway, sorry, hold on, let's do a 3, 2, 1.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1, go. And then just go whenever you can. I think it'll be.
Oh no!
No, it's okay. yeah, so when I see that kind of content and I feel like I'm not really being pushed, I'm just being shown, and then I'm kind of like, yeah, it's obviously fake. Anyone I show, like, to me, it's a very interesting topic whenever the moon landing comes up, because I see people defend that, and as before I even got into this whole space is fake thing, I had never really seen the moon landing for myself. But even prior to really being kind of awoken to the truth, I had seen the 1972 Apollo moon landing for myself, and with no prior knowledge of, like, you know, the fakery, the hoax, I just thought, like, what is this? This looks so crappy and bad. And to everyone I have shown since then, like, if they're just an honest person, they admit that it's like, yeah, what is that? That looks funny. That just, there's something about that that is wrong, you know? So the idea that they present it to us like it's true. Anyways, hold on. 3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1, go. I'm just gonna walk off, and then yeah, okay.
Yes.
Okay, hammers. Hold on. Okay, yeah, let's go. Yeah, to the end of the platform. And then are there more hammers or what? Or is it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there's gonna be another hammer coming.
I think we're okay.
Yeah.
Uh oh, more hammers behind you. Okay, yeah.
Oh, no, there we go. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, almost got me there. Okay, maybe checkpoint here.
Probably
I think so.
Over once we get to it.
Yeah, I don't think it'll probably stop. Like, I don't think we need to.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. So kind of seeing your style of content, where it's kind of just like, have you seen this? Like, did you like check this out? You know, like, okay, hold on. Let's. I guess it's gonna be like one of those auto scrollers, and it's up to us to kind of move as we go. You jump first.
I didn't quite understand what was happening. Well, we're the ones moving, right?
Yeah, the platform, we're on like I guess a crane or something, and we gotta dodge these flying boxes coming our way. And then looks like some hammers and stuff. So when I kind of am presented with content in that style, it kind of, you know, it lets me make that decision. I found that that's a very kind of important part of it. Again, you kind of mentioned it's very hard to change people's minds in one Valorant lobby. You know, I don't really intend on it, although I have had people that are like, man, that's kind of how it started, is we were talking to people and they're like, do you have like a YouTube channel? You should do a podcast. You should do something about that, you know? And we kind of were like, oh, like maybe, you know, I really have internalized my whole life, I'm just some guy, you know, I'm just one man, how much difference can I really make, you know, blah 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 blah. But now I kind of have a totally different perspective. If I can reach one person and give them this kind of gift, you know, break them free from this cult that we were born into, then like that's huge. Is this cable?
Yeah, I'm just
gonna break the glass.
Break it?
Hold on. Maybe I can.
Yeah,
oh, I guess it is. That's freaking. That's interesting.
This one too, I guess. Yeah, that's true. It's broken here a couple times.
If I can reach one person, you know, then that's huge. That's significant. That's a life that has changed the way I see it, you know. Anyways, like I was in a cult. That's kind of how I position it sometimes. It's maybe a bit scary or intense to people, but like I try to relate. I say we were both born into the same cult, and I feel as though I have broken free, and I am coming back. We gotta. I think maybe. I wonder if we can make the glass vertical. It might be easier. Like I'm coming back to try to, you know, help you. Like I essentially see us as prisoners in terms of. I mean, this kind of gets into this whole spiritual prisoners on, like, you know, the whole Gnostic whatever, but I more physically on Earth, we are essentially prisoners in this system. We're enslaved to the dollar, we're enslaved by, oh no, I saw you get smashed.
I had my camera in like the wrong angle.
It's just like, it looked tragic the way I saw you get punted off. Like Plato's cave, basically, yeah, like, this idea of we're born into this cult, and they're never going to tell you that. You're never going to get this kind of, yeah. Okay, wait, I kind of like where you are. It'd be good. No.
On the same side?
I feel like we have to. Okay, wait. Can you go? Yeah, you go first on whatever side you want, and then I'll go with. Actually, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to jump across. Yeah, let's just try it and see what happens. I'm a bit nervous. Oh no! I think I may have pushed you a little.
Left there. I meant to jump
think
straight,
kind of-
but he went to the left.
Like, okay, I think maybe I was pushing you in a way that kind of influenced. Anyways, I had brought up this video earlier, the Staircase of Disbelief.
Oh, right,
It's
yeah.
really nice. This guy Neil Kramer, and he essentially he's basically talking on a radio show, Veritas Radio.
Yeah.
I hadn't personally seen it, but it was just like a, this was my first exposure to the guy, and actually my only real exposure to the guy, but it was so profound. And essentially he basically talks about how when it comes to these truther topics, the way that he kind of pitches it for people is that it's like a... Oh, we're good. That was a sample.
In between.
Oh, are you? Oh, maybe I can pull you out.
Oh, you did.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's not letting me jump very easily. Alright, I'm gonna try again. 1, 2, 3. There we go.
Oh. Okay, you
Time
see,
to
like,
let go in it.
the edge of this thing is... How can we... I think we
have
both
to
need to be
try
on
it.
our side, but I don't know how. Okay,
It seems
well,
like it's built for us to be on opposite sides. Honestly,
Yeah.
The way it looks. But
I agree with that too. I think the edge of the
that's
glass there got caught, so it's like we definitely need to be on the other side. Anyways, the way he kind of explains the process that he finds works is he frames it as this kind of staircase of essentially truther topics, and flat Earth is kind of up at the top, and it's very difficult for people to just jump in if you don't have prior knowledge of, like, let's say secret societies or stuff like that. It's very, very difficult. They're borderline impossible to kind of how can we yeah,
You tried when we tilt it seems to break really easily when we jump.
I know. So, but the
about
thing is,
you
I'm scared.
You try jumping backwards because I'm not very good at it.
I want to be right at this edge. I want to give you enough space, and then maybe I'm scared that if I can try this,
Okay, I'm gonna jump.
try to just jump and no. I feel okay. Wait, I just want to see. Am I able to? Okay, so I can make this jump. I want to maybe get on and then, like, I don't know, jump to the other side or something like that. So when I had seen that, it was one of the kind of earlier ones, and it was at the point where I hadn't really seen all of the kind of flat Earth proofs and stuff. Now, obviously, with some perspective, I really have the opinion that, like, how much proof do you really need, I'm kind of thinking, like, yeah, you have 200 proofs, and, like, of course, that's huge, just the sheer volume kind of just speaks to itself, kind of like, well, freaking 200. All you really need, though, is to know that the size of the globe they told you and the limitations that would have, kind of worried about this, but okay, if you can just try to jump and okay, wait, okay, I'm gonna try to just do a gamer move here. Hope I don't pull it. No, that's something. Okay.
Do you think that move is possible to jump from that side to the other?
Possible, yes, but I don't know if that's like the intended way. I feel like
is the intent, or is
I feel like
I wonder if both ways are possible.
that's such like a boost in the difficulty out of nowhere. I would expect it to not be the intended way, but I would assume if you were to watch like two pros or speedrunners of this game, it would look ridiculous. Like, oops, I think we got too close. Oh, something weird is happening when I reset there. I like fell through the terrain.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, the way this guy frames it, this staircase of disbelief, he basically says that you kind of have to start people on these lower steps and kind of introduce them to the idea. So his staircase is like, he starts with, like, let's say JFK. Who really, what really happened with JFK? Hold on, I have an idea where I want to kind of, can you come over to this corner here, kind of, where I just was? And then I just want to, like, I'm so scared to jump here, but I'm gonna, let's just, on 3, let's just jump and go over.
Okay.
Okay? I'll do a 3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh no. Okay, I think I like that idea though. Let's try that again, and maybe with a, if we both land, should be okay. But yeah, he basically starts with like JFK, which is kind of a simple one, and then another one is kind of like Iraq in 2003. Did Iraq really have weapons of mass destruction in 2003 capable of reaching America or London, right? Once you go down that rabbit hole and you kind of, debunk that, again, it kind of puts you a little bit more, okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, nice. Okay, wait, now I want to kind of level the glass out, and I see that we're going to need to, like, up ahead. There's, like, this block here, though. Are we going to bonk our head, I think?
Yeah, I
or
guess
what?
that's for to make us block our head. So, if it's going to make us hit our head, what does it want us to do instead?
Well, there's no way we're just walking off. I guess let's just try a 3, 2, 1, go, and just see how it goes. So, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, I think...
Oh, one of us go too far? And
I think it maybe hit... I think it hit the cushion, yeah. I went a little too far. / maybe it could have maybe been a bit lower, the glass. It may have been a bit high. But yeah, it's this basic idea. And then it's like, it gets into 9/11. Did 19 Arab hijackers really hijack... Oh, I should have seen that coming. Did 19 Arab hijackers really hijack, like, 4 planes and fly them into these different buildings? And by the way, many of them turned up alive, and they never found any rubble of any planes, any debris, any black box, anything like that. Which is like, huh? You know? To me, I think 9/11, and people died for exposing the truth, right? Like, there's this Robin Cook, I believe it was, a British MP, who was killed for trying to expose this. Anyways, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh no, I saw that. The second I saw...
Clip the edge.
This is tough, but probably after that chunk we'll get a little...
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to make it through this chunk. This is the most difficult one, I think, so far.
Oh, I just kind of ran. I saw that hammer swinging, and I was like, I'm going in it. So it's this very, very interesting video, and then he gets into, like, mass shootings are kind of often fake. Stuff about, like, Sandy Hook and stuff is, like, lots of doctored images and stuff like that, and it kind of, once you really internalize that, like, the media is not your friend, right? The media, it's have you seen, it's this movie Network?
Yes.
So good.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go. Okay. What am I doing? I was like lowering it. Yeah. Network to me was like a big one, where it really internalizes, like, what is the news, right? It's a storytelling group, and every night they want to know how to get your attention. Anyways, let's try to 3, 2, 1 this, and see. Hold on, wait. I kind of want to lower it a little. Yeah.
It'll have to be to go through the cushions eventually.
Try to not... I'm going to try to just land right on that yellow little block there, so that we're not too far. Okay, so 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. I think, we can just walk through here, I believe. I'm going bird's eye mode.
Okay.
Oh, I kind of like bird's eye mode. Okay, let's do a 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, no! That was on me. I don't know why. It like pulled me a little bit. That's life.
Right.
But again, people...
That idea of authority, I think, is more what's being exposed in all facets here, whether it's conspiracy or a simple Google search. Just because something is supposed to be the authority on this or that subject doesn't mean everything they say, everything that comes out of their mouth is correct. And people just assume that, and they don't know how to circumvent it. Well, if the experts are wrong, then where do I go for the truth? Well, yourself. That's the thing. People have outsourced the responsibility for discovering the truth to whoever is the most promoted expert. Because how do you even know that someone's an expert? Because there's letters after their name? Because they're wearing a white lab coat? I mean,
they told you he's an expert.
Yeah. But we can also kind of use this to our advantage a little bit, because I think the kind of people who are going to wake up due to logic, reasoning, information, the rebels that are actually seeking counterculture and alternative information, they're already awake. The people that are left at the moment are the people that are more influenced by things like authority figures. And that's why I actually think something as silly as you being really good at playing Valorant could seriously affect the opinion people have about the information that you're conveying. They're gonna see like, wow, this guy keeps headshotting me every time I spawn in, and then telling me the Earth is flat. Why is he? Why is he? His fingers are superior to me, and his brain is firing on cylinders that I can't counteract.
That's
like,
so
I really
cool.
think, and not just someone who's good at video games, but literally anything. And this is what I'm trying to promote, is you can take your activism, you can take these important subjects into other arenas where you are the expert and you're perceived as the expert, and you can use that perceived expertise to throw a curveball at these people and say, hey, guess what? Here's some other information that you might not have known about. And that is what I'm hoping to encourage other people to do through this video, and through promoting the idea of this type of activism. You can be anonymous and still throw these kind of ideas out and be influential in a way that most people don't realize they can be.
Thank you. Definitely, I agree. Much appreciated. So cool. So cool. It definitely solidifies you as just a real dude to me. Like you're doing the way that I would want to do it. There's no such thing. If I ever get to some level of fame and notoriety and whatever, I would never exclude the little guy. If there's some guy that's interesting to me, I would. Why not? Why not? So it's just cool to see you kind of live in that way that I said I would. It kind of is like, oh, this guy he's real. He's a real guy. Because I've tweeted to Witsit before and ghosted, right? He's not interested in kind of developing a truth or a community kind of thing, at all. Mm-hmm. So that kind of speaks to, it's definitely interesting. Anyways, thank you. Sorry, I've kept you so long. But thank you so much, Eric. This was a joy. This was a pleasure. This was so much fun. And thank you for spending a Saturday morning with me.